I'm honored to tell you a short story of my observations made during the development of Unfolding Multitudes. In the sense of the project title, this visual story is an attempt to unfold a multitude of very personal associations with the artist's process. One of the things that makes this dance performance so special is the rope, this vertical line that is and does so many things. As I am a spatial designer, I associate lines with drawings. So for me, the language of lines describes objects and represents movement in time and space. Referring to the rope, the artist's reference the tentacle, the umbilical cord, and the kundalini. I have to think of my tentacle hand that makes and moves the world around me, and Isabel speaking of doing, undoing, and being done. I have to think of my navel, no longer connected to the universe of my mother's womb, and my ears listening to Gemma's womb-like instruments and the sounds of moving through water. I have to think of the spine that holds my body between the earth and the sky, and the spiraling spines of the dancers, moved by rope's muscles and response. These three bodily perspectives, the hand, the navel, and the spine, will frame the fragments of this visual story to share what has moved me personally while observing the becoming of unfolding multitudes. A dance piece develops through the body in movement and interaction. In architecture, though, we mostly develop work through drawing. Everything we think about has to first become a line in a drawing before it becomes part of the real world. When architects think about dance, they might think about the lines of the body in relation to the lines of the space. The movement of straight lines in space and time, meeting the static lines of a construction, the textures of materials, and the moving lines of light. As I am a landscape architect, I care less about the exact measures of things, but more about the relationships that connect them. We practice space through ecological thought by continuously zooming in and out. So when I think about verticality, I do not think about construction, but about interconnectedness on scales. When Darwin's sons studied the movements of plants, they made line drawings to reveal their slow movement that is so difficult to perceive for humans. Lines between points drawing the passage of plant time. For me, these plant choreographies, look just like astrological drawings of stellar constellations. In dance, William Forsythe also uses lines between points to describe his language of bodily movements. In his work, White Bouncy Castle, visitors get to experience the destabilization of their own bodies by gravity, bouncing navels, drawing invisible lines going up and down. I learned that the navel is the geometrical point of gravity of the human body. It is the point where the body's weight is in balance. For some, this is a proof that the golden ratio also applies to the body. And surely it is no coincidence that the rope that holds the weight of the dancers' bodies is connected to the waist, so close to the navel. My own navel reminds me of the beginning, of how every human metamorphoses from another human body, how we are like a sprouting seed that needs the earth, Mother Earth, to become a plant body. I am reminded of this quote of Emanuele Coccia. There's nothing purely human. The vegetal exists in all that is human, and the tree is at the origin of all experience. My personal movement practice is mostly limited to walking and cycling through the city, and the occasional dance in a living room. Only since a year, I started to do Qigong, a Chinese movement practice to cultivate and balance the mythical life force Qi. The basic posture is called standing like a tree. Like the tree being a symbol for the connection between heaven and earth, this pose is dedicated to that vertical relationship. To stand like a tree, one has to create awareness of one's roots of energy. I am reminded of the root drawings by plant researcher Lore Kutschera, and their stunning resemblance with the neurological drawings of Santiago, Ramon y Cajal. One inspiration for the dancers is Trisha Brown's piece, Man Walking Down the Side of a Building. During the research period, I got to experience the hanging myself, and I got to feel in my own body how difficult it is to free myself from gravity. To walk down the side of a building looks effortless, but I learned that it actually needs all the muscles in the body to become horizontal. Standing back on the ground, I feel appreciation for the effortlessness of my vertical body. I started to feel what my Qigong teacher means when she says that we are hanging from the sky on an invisible thread. What it means when we say that the spine carries the body. And while hanging from a rope, I get an embodied sense of why drawings of energetic practices, like the representation of the Kundalini, often show spirals. While I want to hang in stillness, I continuously have to move against an invisible force that tries to turn my body. Maybe that is why some people believe that spinning the body, following the movement of spirals and swirls, reconnects us to cosmic forces. Like choreographer Anne-Therese de Keersmaker, who uses spiral movements to visualize verticality as spiritual connection. And of course, dervishes swirling their bodies, turning the spine to reach out to Allah. Dancing bodies mimicking the planets orbiting the sun in our solar system. Relating the human body to celestial bodies is an ancient technology. Often we measure time and space in relation to the stars and the cosmic bodies above us. I learned that through aligning our hand to the sky, we can measure angular distances of stars. So instead of using abstractions like the meter, we can measure the world with our bodies, literally with our hands and feet, or through the length of labor, the time it takes to do something, or the amount of space that is needed for a certain activity. A foot, a day's travel, a cow's daily ration of food, a season of harvest. In ancient times, also our architectures were used to manifest and maintain the relationship with the sky, the celestial bodies as measurements that help to navigate life on Earth. Even here in the Netherlands, we can find traces of these architectures. Burial mounds, monolithic stones, and built sun calendars. These two stones I found close to a burial mound in a forest in the Veluwe. I wonder where they come from and how much time it took them to get there. I think about the fluid forces that have moved stones as sediments through landscapes. Sediments like the sand and pebbles in the concrete walls that the dancers are walking on, or the clay particles in Gemma's instruments and in Isabel's folded objects. Finally, I am reminded of the horizontal forces of the Earth's body, slowly moving itself over millions of years, folding and unfolding the skin of the planet.